Are we live? Hey,
Hey,
we're live.
we're live.
Don't dream it, stream it. My Rocky Horror Picture Show paraphrase.
Yeah, we're not saying anything till the timer runs down.
Oh, we can't say anything. Okay, Troy's got his timer going, so let's watch Troy and his timer.
Yes, Troy.
Let's watch the old. Let's watch the old timer.
All right.
Live video is always an experiment.
It is.
Where's our music? I was promised music. I was also promised flying cars.
Didn't happen yet either.
No.
Cam Mike, come on.
Let's watch Troy. Anybody in the comment section right now? So I made a mistake by not clicking 205, 305, 505, 405. 505 are jeans, I think.
Check out the speakers.
We have 45 seconds. We're in so far.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to know about Troy's timer?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we just lost.
I think
Now we don't know how much time we have left. I hope you can use that.
we have no time. There's no time. As Troy would say, ain't nobody got time for that. So I am Dr. Christopher Vogelman of Maximize Your Media, waiting for Troy McDonald to show up. Also, you found him? Are you gonna bring him back? Good.
Oh,
Yeah,
You?
I was testing things and
I don't know who I am.
We got 2 seconds left.
Okay, I'll go now. I'm JohnPaduchak. JohnPaduchak.com. Targeted Net Solutions is our digital agency site. It's great to be here with you guys today.
I'm Angela Langlotz, trademark attorney and live video evangelist. Happy to be live with everyone.
I'm Troy McDonald with LiveEventMarketers.com Facebook group, and we allow you to promote your live events and live streams as long as they're business and marketing related.
Hey, is this sucker being broadcast in Live Event Marketers?
It is.
I think so. There you go. Okay. Sorry for the use of the word sucker.
All right.
I didn't want to offend anybody with my potty mouth.
You want to introduce yourself?
I already did.
You did?
Yes, but
I could do it again.
we
I'm
weren't
Dr.
live when you introduced yourself, however.
We were live. We
Oh,
actually
you
were
were?
live.
Yeah, we were actually live.
But there
We're
was a
actually live.
clock. We were unsynchronous.
I know. You pay no attention to the man behind the clock.
All right.
The confusion.
Well, the
Or the
funny
clock in
thing,
front of the man.
the funny thing is that so it was on audio today. So I decided to do some audio, and Dr. V didn't understand or remember, I should say, what time he set the live stream for. And
I remembered that I forgot.
Okay.
Well, at least you remember that you forgot.
So
Exactly.
that just kind of was a little bit of a wrench, but anyway. So,
That's okay.
and then you guys are wondering, do we talk? Do we not talk? And yeah, anyway, so we'll just
we
pretend
kinda
like nothing happened.
We monkey around with the monkey wrench.
Just because the timer's going doesn't mean we can't talk.
That's
No,
true.
but with the music and whatever, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'll
We'll
let
do
you
some
guys-
music some other time, or I could do some music now if you want.
Well, I figured the fact that we're talking about audio, kind
Yeah.
of contextually, it made sense. So
Well, I also titled this "The Sound of Silence," so that kind of is anti-audio.
well, then why were you talking though? See, then we.
I don't know, because the silence was awkward.
How about we could be on here for an hour just not saying anything.
It's true.
How about that?
Good. So Troy, what are your favorite things about audio and video? What the do's and don'ts and whys and hows and wherefores?
Well,
Because you're a
definitely.
musician.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a musician, more of like DJ kind of stuff. So, some people wouldn't classify that as a musician, but others would. Well, personally, I don't really have much of a leg to stand on because right now I'm just using the internal mic on my Mac.
Because you were sitting.
I'm still trying to determine which microphone I want to use for my live streams. And there's just like so many of them out there, and it's just hard to pull the trigger on any one of them. Although I am on that almost pull the trigger one. So if anybody knows of a specific one that they want to recommend, not that I don't have a zillion other recommendations, but
Heil! See, Heil! Microphone.
That's what
but I do know that the biggest thing is when it comes to video that, your video can be crappy, we'll call it, or not as good as it could be, but your audio is where it really needs to be on spot and on point. Especially if you're going to do anything of like repurposing.
Mhm.
So if you're going to use it for
Like your podcast.
a podcast or anything like that, yeah, audio is where it really needs to be, where you really need to make sure you kind of, spend a little bit of money.
Yeah, when people have bad audio, it's like fingernails on the chalkboard. I can't even bear to listen to it. But it doesn't really matter if, like Troy, not picking on you, but your studio is a little bit dark. But we don't.
Oh, yeah.
Because your sound is amazing. So we can see you, and that's good enough, right? But if there's scratchy stuff going on in the background, man, that's super annoying to the listeners and super distracting. So the audio has got to be on point.
Yes. And to that point specifically, Angela, I do have lights on my list as well. Yeah, because like as it has been mentioned, behind the patented. Okay, I shouldn't say patented because Angela probably.
No, it's the signature series.
Yeah, signature series. The signature series curtain we have, curtain number 1, as it's called.
That's what I'm waiting for. What's behind curtain number 1?
Yeah, this studio is being worked on, so to speak.
Awesome.
I thought it was a sweatshop for manufacturing sheets.
We've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah.
That's what Dr. V has been calling it, but.
So, Troy, what are you using for your audio?
That's what I had mentioned, that I'm only actually using the built-in mic to the iMac.
Wow.
Right now.
Okay, so this is what I use. I'll just show and tell here. So this is a Yeti Blue,
Yeti.
right? So a lot of people use these, and they're less than $100. And then I got this little hat for it, right? Little wind blocker.
Yeah, Helen looks
So
just like
that,
Is
so
it windy in your office?
well, no, sometimes you breathe on it. You breathe on it.
I try to hold my breath through the entire broadcast.
hard though.
But and mount it. I have it mounted on a shock mount, and the reason for that is because it comes on a stand.
Mhm.
But if I put it on the desk and it's on the stand, if I bump it or bump the desk, it makes this boom boom sound. So
It's quite annoying
That's
when you do
shocking.
that.
It's absolutely shocking.
It's
When
shocking.
people leave them on the desktop, it is absolutely annoying because like even if they're not say typing, but just like they just barely touch the desk, you hear it and like it's so distracting from hearing them.
It's
I got a
super
funny story for
distracting.
you. You know how I got my
Here's-
Yeti really cheap?
How?
My friend
Oh,
had
yeah.
that same thing. He had the Yeti that I now have. It was just like yours.
Mhm.
And he put it on his stand right next to his laptop. And he's like, I can't figure out why this thing has such a funny sound. He says, maybe you can fix it. He said, I'll just send it to you. I'm going to go buy a new one. So
Oh my
he
God.
got a new one. He was still having the same problem. I said, I
You
fixed the old one. He goes,
Probably forgot to
"It's
switch the sound.
you." Yeah. Because it was on his desk right next to his laptop. I was picking up the sound of the drives through the desk.
Yeah.
It was very sensitive and he had it on the wrong setting. So I got a
Here's
very inexpensive microphone. Thank you, Steve. Love you, man.
this is what I almost used this one today, which is the little Samson.
I love that. I got one of those.
They're so cute.
It flips on.
Yeah.
I had one of those. I can't find it. I have the cord, but no mic. I
Well,
don't
yeah, but I couldn't find this.
Hmm.
I could not find this for the longest time. I found it, but I can't find the cord.
Oh, I have the cord. Maybe I should just send you the cord.
No, I know I'll find the cord.
Which one is it? Which one is it? But I know as soon as I throw out the cord, I'll find the microphone, of course. But
Exactly. So
Which one
don't
is it?
do that. Hang on. This is the little Samson.
Little
yeah, I
Samsung.
think Samson. Yeah, I had a Samson, and it came in a cool little case, and I can't find it anywhere.
And I
Cool
think
little case.
Exactly. I don't know where that case is.
and if I remember
Well,
correctly,
just in case. Hang on to it.
it takes the standard cord. You can
No,
just-
it doesn't.
Oh, well, that's
It doesn't
Is it
take the
different?
cord.
Oh, I
No,
thought it was the same one.
the-
it's got just a
plug
little.
into the
It's
microphone.
got a little
is different.
little thingy right there. I don't know
It's
what that.
different. It's not a
It's a
USB.
little unusual.
It's
It's
like
a micro. It's
yeah,
a smaller one.
Yeah.
it is a standard one, but it's a GPS one.
I've got so many cords. I don't even know what cord is which. Whoa,
I don't
the
know.
little spit shield disappeared. Whatever they call it, the pop blocker,
Pop filter.
Filter.
Yeah.
pop filter.
So, Dr. V, announce your big elaborate setup you have there for your mic.
It's not that big and elaborate. It's just the Heil. Heil.
Hi.
Heil PR40.
Heil. It's the Heil. John knew it instantly, and I was
I
like,
did.
"He's
I
the
knew
audio."
you looked that out there. I
He
said,
knew it
"Oh,
instantly.
Heil. Look at you. PR40.
Heil. Somebody told me it was a good microphone. So many years ago, probably 4
One of the
years ago, I bought it. Yeah, and I didn't realize it was one of the best.
One of the best ones
So-
you can get.
This is why my sister and my wife both believe I have expensive tastes.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I do like real Swiss chocolate and also Belgian. Pierre Marcolini.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing that we want to have is a quality mic. Of course, is coming from the guy who's
Yes.
using his built-in.
Mhm.
It's like the shoemaker whose kids have no shoes.
All right.
That's right. That's right.
I'm using my camera mic today.
Yeah, I almost did
and
that.
which
I've got the Logitech
is it, C920?
C920.
C920.
That's what I use.
I have one of those
Using the
too.
camera on my Logitech.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
We
on my
have so
laptop.
many similar pieces of equipment.
Yeah, I thought you were using the Blue Yeti because you had mentioned that.
No, and it sounds pretty good though, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
it
does.
does. A little bit
I'm
muffled, just a
impressed.
little
A
muffled.
little bit muffled, but it's a pretty good microphone overall. Not bad.
It's not bad.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing to consider too is what you're broadcasting through,
Mhm.
because I know that StreamYard does its own kind of things. I mean, all of them do. So whether you're going to do a podcast, but usually, I mean, again, if you're going to do a live podcast, that can be one thing. If you're going to do a recorded podcast, that can be another, because you can tweak it and set things how you want them. But yeah, whatever service you're going through, you have to. I personally think you should be testing it to kind of get the vibe and see what can be done.
Mhm.
Meaning, what can be done is that you can have some filtering prior to going into your service, whether it's StreamYard or whether it's a desktop application that you're recording to or whatever. So that's kind of getting into the nerdy aspect of it.
Yeah.
But if you do want to, like say, tweak your sound, improve it, you can use software. So you take your audio and you send it to, okay, where do we want to go? If we want to go on this rabbit hole, actually, let me actually jump back though and talk one other thing about your environment that you're in. So we're all in different environments. I'm in a basement office right here. It's quite open, but I don't think it's that echoey from the way that I have it kind of set up right now.
No, it's the signature
It
sheet.
probably helps.
Yes, it's the signature sheet, actually. So I can't leave. I just got to have it then forever.
It helps a lot. Believe it or not.
But also, yes, so the type of room that you're in can help then, well, it will determine kind of the sound that will go into the microphone. So you'll see some people that will invest in some padding. That's, to me, kind of expensive. It's sound deadening pads that you can put under the wall.
Yeah.
At the same time, it depends on how you have your room decorated, all the things that the sound can bounce off of or be absorbed by. And so, for example, that we talk about, it wasn't intentional, but this sheet does also help kind of absorb some of the sound versus having it ricochet off like a harder wall that I have over on this side here of me. So you can see my hand, this side over here.
Yeah.
So if you find that you're in a room that's quite echoey, there are a couple things that you can do, such as putting up anything that will more absorb the sound, which would be more like some type of fabric, and have it hanging.
Yeah, like-
it can be, right off of your camera or right behind you.
15th century tapestries. They work.
Yes.
Sure.
Just
got
get
them
them
laying
out of
around.
your reserve. And
Like
so,
we-
collection.
Carpeting helps too, or carpets on the floor, actually.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Anything so that if the sound's not hitting a hard surface where it can then bounce, so to
Do-
speak.
Do I sound echoey?
There's
A
a
tiny
bit.
bit.
There's a real
A
little bit.
Minor.
Because I don't
worry.
have any rugs in my office and I have hardwood floors. So there's really no relief. No cushy furniture. So
Just
Smaller
throw
room.
a few cats in there. That'll
there
absorb
was
the
a
sound.
cat
But
here. Actually, there was a cat.
But
She's
the
only
problem is
little.
they also create sound. That's the one problem, the drawback with cats.
She doesn't really. She's not a talker. My male cat will be pretty whiny, but yeah. But yeah, that's the other thing too. Sometimes you get background noise from things like airplanes, the computer fan. They're renovating the house next door, so they're jackhammering. So
all of that is in my neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
So,
if you have one of these microphones, these blue Yetis, I'm moving it here so that y'all can see. So it's got this mute button on the front, which is kind of cool. It's got this gain button. And then on the back, if you can see, oh no, the gain's on the back. I just kind of leave it. So it's got a switch so that you can point the microphone, the front. So this is the back of the microphone that I'm pointing to right now. You can actually set it so that there's a heart on it, and the heart core means that the front of the microphone is what's going to pick up the sound, and then you can put it so that it can pick up the sound from both sides. So the nice thing about this Blue Yeti, even though it's an inexpensive microphone, is that you can set this to pick up only sound from the front. So like my computer fan is running right now. It does this sometimes. It makes me absolutely crazy, but you don't hear it very much if I move the microphone away and I use the unidirectional. Same thing with the jackhammering outside. I'm not going to hear it. It's not going to really pick up on the microphone if I have it set properly and it's pointed toward me. So.
Yeah, that's actually a good point that you're mentioning. Is then there's the different settings and different options that microphones will have to help you out with sound.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are new to audio, Angela mentioned gain, which is basically how much of the voice or sound will be put into the microphone, or I should actually say, let me correct myself. When you're speaking into your microphone, it will determine how much of the loudness is pushed out through the cord, basically then into your computer, or if you've gone nerdy and you have it going into a sound mixer, then usually a sound mixer will have its own gain as well, so you can kind of use both of those to the degree that you need them. And I wanted to say hi to Terry because she jumped in our live.
Hey, Terry.
Predominantly for the signature series.
$1 million curve.
We don't know.
$1 million signature
number one film.
That curve is famous, Troy.
It does continue.
A sound deadener and a visual augmenter.
People know when you're trying to hide something from them, so they
exactly.
Well, let's see what we can see if I just kind of
here we go.
Pull back the curtain.
Let's see one part of what won't be in the final video.
Looks like your closet. Oh, there we go.
Wait,
let's see. Let me see.
Oh, there is stuff back there.
Try the other side.
What is that?
What is it? This looks like a ladder.
Oh.
What is that?
Pac-Man? You've been holding out on us, Troy.
Oh, that's right. His games. I forgot about the games. It wasn't the gain. It was the game.
Hey, we can play Pac-Man on Happy Hour.
Yeah, we should.
So
depends on what Angela's going to put in that 24-ounce mug.
It's just tea, my friends. It's very.
Wait. We're talking Friday. Friday. You might actually get carbonated.
I only drink with friends, and then I don't drink very much. So. So I would drink with you because you're friends, but I won't drink very much.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So, okay. So then there's a couple different options. I mean, you guys feel free to jump in. I'm just going with everything I know. I'm laying it all out there. So again, go ahead.
I just want people to know that they don't need the fancy smancy stuff that Troy is doing.
Right.
Let him. He wants to make things more complicated. I like to keep things simple. Just get a regular USB mic. You don't have to spend very much money. That mic that Christopher was holding up, the Samson, hold it up again, Christopher.
Where is it? Samson, Delilah, where are you?
So what he was holding up.
It's resting in its little case now.
Right. It's called a Samson.
It's sleeping.
And you can get it on Amazon. And they're about $40, okay?
Yeah.
And it clips onto the top of your computer and it connects into the computer's USB port. And the mic that I'm using is a little bit more expensive, but it's still less than $100. Isn't that a cute little microphone? Look at that.
I like that. I like the little clip. The clip reminds me of the Microsoft Clippy.
I know, right?
Yep.
But the microphone that I'm using is called a Blue Yeti, and it's less than $100, and it's just a USB mic. And you don't have to get the mic boom. You don't have to get a fancy mixer like Troy was talking about. You don't have to do any of that. If you want to, you can, but make it simple, right? Let's get people online. Let's get people on live video. Let's not make it complicated. Doesn't have to be complicated. And I don't think it sounds that much better when you make it complicated.
You are a true live video evangelist.
I am. Thank you.
Okay, well, I will agree in the sense that you do not need to get complicated. Sometimes it is a matter of just getting started. However, the people that are going to get complicated are probably already the nerds, and probably most of the stuff that I have mentioned or will mention, they probably already have.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I agree. You do not need to get.
And if you got it, you should use it.
I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know if that was a water commercial there, and he was trying to get the water sound, but
it's not vodka. This time, it's not vodka.
It's not vodka. Okay,
that's what they say.
It's only 2 p.m. on the West Coast.
Vada.
Christopher, what are you doing?
It also depends.
Well, I grew up. I spent most of my life on the East Coast. Thank you.
Okay, but still, I'm just saying it's 2 p.m. So
I really feel like Dr. V thinks it's Friday again because
it's always Friday in my head.
At TGI Fridays, it's always Fridays, right?
I am fried every day.
So I'm not going to touch it. And so if you already have the equipment, you're probably going to use it if you'd like, but you don't have to get that complicated. Now, if you are going to do something more sophisticated, such as having a guest on, if you're using a service like, so 2 different things. If you're going to do a live stream, a lot of the tools that we already have, such as StreamYard, BeLive, even Facebook and stuff, they already have all the kind of audio stuff built in for you. You're not going to have to handle any audio. You don't need a mixer board. You don't need any of that kind of crazy stuff like that. But there are the people that want to get, and so I'm trying to talk all ranges. So people that want to be sophisticated, or they want to have a kind of a setup where they are going to be bringing people in from a literal phone and things like that. You will need to use a mixer, and you want to look at something like JohnPaduchak.com for pulling in audios from phones and stuff. But again, I'm just trying to throw out all ranges of stuff. But I do agree with Angela. Get started with what you have. Like heck, even right now, I'm just using my built-in iMac microphone. Mm-hmm. And I'm not necessarily going to get sophisticated in my setup. I will have more than likely it's going to be USB mic as well. And it is going to be on a boom arm just for the, to move it around. You're not going to get any sound. It's definitely not going to sit on my desk. Like we said, that's nothing I would highly recommend, is not having it on your desk if at all possible, because again, any bumping or tap or, knocking into the desk, even on accident, it comes through and it's quite annoying.
Yeah.
And on purpose if you're knocking it.
Yeah. And a good mic will pick up your drives, will pick up everything around you. So
yes. And so now that you mention that, actually, John, my suggestion is with the Samsung one, be careful about that, because it may pull in sounds. So while it isn't expensive, if you're wondering, hey, how can I get rid of that sound? Well, if you basically, have your microphone right next to the sound source, then you kind of can't get rid of it,
right,
so to speak.
Usually you clip it to the screen or something.
I've used it as a lav mic, just clip it on my pocket.
Really? That's interesting.
It works pretty cool.
Does it weigh you down? You find yourself leaning forward from the
Not really. It's not that heavy, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, okay.
I've even used it.
So speaking of lav mics,
awesome.
I'm in agreement. There's various different kinds that you can have. And I'm thinking about maybe even doing the earpiece mic kind of thing. I might do that. Is another one I'm looking at. Of course, that's USB as well. I am looking at doing a lav mic. and whatnot, just so I can move around and not have to worry about, oh, I'm not close enough to the mic. Because, like, for example, if you notice with Angela's a little bit, when she was moving the mic around, she's getting the sound kind of directly from the mic. But if she moves it too far away, which is it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Again, every mic has its pluses and minuses. So, like, if I wear my headset one, pretty much wherever I go, you'll be able to hear me.
Mhm.
So if I go back to play, say, Pac-Man when that's live, right? I could
During
talk
the
to
broadcast.
you. Yeah, I could talk to you about it. Because I'll have the mic with me.
We'll have to get you a helmet cam or something.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Helmet.
helmet cam, action cam. And then,
Make it
you know,
a GoPro. He needs a GoPro
Yeah.
mounted on.
which,
Mounted on the top.
I know, so we can watch him play.
I need to have like a big like crash helmet kind of thing with just this little camera on it, right?
Yeah.
And look like Spaceballs, if you guys remember that movie where they had the huge
All too well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so again, there's pluses and minuses for different microphones that you use, and you just kind of need to think a little about what your situation is and try to think of what you're going to want to do in a sense. Because sometimes, like, I've purchased things, I'm like, then later on I'm like, now this one's better for it, whether it's, you know, a piece of software or a piece of hardware, that kind of thing. So, but another thing you can do with your microphone, depending on your setup, is there is software and there is hardware that you can use to help to not only change the sound of your, and I'm not talking about necessarily doing some kind of Smurf voice or whatever, but to kind of, you know, maybe beef up your voice a little more resonant kind of type thing. But then again, that's getting, you know, more complicated. And in most cases, you don't really need that. But again, there are some nerds that just, they want to have a particular sound and stuff. And that's kind of the way to go about it. If you don't already have the equipment, it's through, through software, hardware.
Like auto-tune your broadcast, or?
Well, you could do that, but I think that would be quite annoying.
I think so.
Depends.
Anyway, so that is a little bit of my brain dump on the live stream. I do want to show one more thing that is, again, not a necessary, but it is optional. I'll share my my screen. And this is something that you can get from Amazon or, you know, other websites as well. But these are foam pads that you can encircle in essence your microphone. So depending on how you have it set up or what you're going to be doing, such as you see, here's one that's around a boom mic. So what it does is it helps, again, your sound from hitting the other side. And then if anything is going to bounce back, you're going to go back more towards the microphone versus just reverberating throughout the room. Perfect. So those are some other options that you have as well. If you don't want to do a whole ton of, padding on the wall, or if you look at those foam pads, those are the kind that you buy.
I was just thinking about the padded room. That's all.
Yeah, I know.
No, you know what? That actually would be an awesome room to use, to be honest.
We can broadcast from the asylum.
Yes. From the lunatic101.com, right?
Perfect.
There may be a site like, I don't know, but okay.
Actually, one of my friends actually has something called Dr. Manny's Asylum. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a whole other story. Well, no, it's not about an insane asylum, but he likes to. Yeah, he's practicing all kinds of interesting things, and he is indeed, was a psychiatric resident. So,
oh, perfect.
It is perfect in its own way. But yeah, the padded room would work. I like the foam pads though, Troy. I almost think of getting rid of this little pop shield or block or whatever it is.
Well, actually,
getting the foam thingy.
It's good that you bring it up though. Let me explain the pop filter. So if you can show it a little more, like, can you turn it towards the camera a little bit so they can see what the shield looks like? So the shield really looks kind of like, think about pantyhose for the most part. It's basically a little screen.
And it's not my shade. It's not my shade.
It's kind of stretchy in a way. But what that is it's to help remove, if you have the mic and you're talking onto it directly, which is what a lot of broadcasters will do.
Okay.
So it'll keep what they call the plosives.
Pandemic.
It will keep them from really being that will
it's your pandemic protector.
That actually woke.
It's having a hard time here.
It's a perpetual pandemic protector.
Your
There you
perpetual pandemic protector, personified.
And it will also help kind of, instead of taking direct breaths onto the microphone, it will at least disperse them a little bit. Not that they won't come through, but you won't get that harsh breathing on the microphone.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
That's what this is for too.
And that's what, yeah.
It's not just a hat for me.
Yes.
It's not just a hat.
It actually slides onto the microphone. You can see it slides on.
And there
It's
is also
functional.
a thing that is called a dead cat. And that's usually and that's usually used for outdoor situations where it's quite windy.
The dead cat. That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the two things is you have your pop filter. So like Dr. V has, and also Angela, hers is in essence a form of a pop filter as well.
Yeah.
And then so Dr. V, the shield that we talked about, those foam ones that I demonstrated, are kind of different. They're to help keep the echo down. So in other words, when you're speaking into your mic, the sound is pretty much not just going to go everywhere, but you're going to kind of hit that back wall, and it, because it surrounds your mic, and it'll help kind of knock out some of those. If you're really, really echoey, I would recommend something like that.
No, I mean, that's not an
if
issue.
you don't want to do your walls or whatever and floors with padding.
There's enough carpeting in here, enough books, and
I was just letting you know,
things.
Because you said you had talked about possibly that instead, but I was
I think only because
things.
because it's not omnidirectional. This is a unidirectional mic. I mean, it's really supposed to be, you're supposed to be speaking right into it, ideally. Which is weird because it's got all this extraneous stuff on the side. So.
Well, okay, to get nerdy, although
let's do that.
They may be unidirectional mics or labeled as that. However, sound can come in from the other areas. And I mean, how much they will depends on the mic, depends on the mic setting. If it has settings, it also depends on your setup, either software or hardware, because you can then also control that as well. I have on my other Mac, which happens to be upstairs in another room, that because this, like I say, I'm just using the internal mic, but the mic setup I have on my other Mac, which is an older Mac, it does have a setting to where you can control more of the sound, because what happens sometimes is people will turn, like Angela pointed out, that gain. So they'll turn it really high. And so basically that in essence takes your microphone and says, hey, like, magnify everything that's coming in from around you. Mm-hmm. So what you really ideally want is your gain and the output from your mic as low as possible. And then you really want to, you really want to be careful not to boost it too much. Cause again, it's that balance between hearing you well and also knocking out any other background noise or any other extraneous noise that comes in. So it's always a balance.
And then the nice thing about the boom is that you can actually get the mic pretty close to you and still keep it out of the camera, right? So I can move it over here and it's pretty unobtrusive, but I can kind of point it toward my face. So that works.
The bad thing about the boom is if it's on a stand and you have a large built-in desk, you can't get it past you.
But I do think
I'll have to take a photograph of this setup. She's got the nice.
I mounted on the side of my desk, so it's actually over here, and I just bring it in when I need it. But if I had this on the back of the desk, that would be a problem, Christopher. You're right.
I basically have an 8-foot desk built into the wall. So
oh my!
It inhibits. I'll take a picture of this and share it because it does inhibit some of the things that I can do, but it gives me phenomenal surface area.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
Yeah. So,
well, there are various clamp-on arms that you can do to either extend it off the pole that you have there that you're wheeling it around on, or like Angela has, in a sense, you could switch over to something like that where you clamp it to the desk.
The unfortunate thing is the desk has drawers in it, and the clearance is about maybe a half inch, 3/4 of an inch. So the clamp, I'd have to drill a hole into the desk, I think, to make it work. But
well, actually, they have little clamps. I mean, so you wouldn't have to drill anything, but also I'm sure you can find a clamp that would then connect to the pole that you have there, that you can then extend the arm. In other words, this clamp on arm to move that mic out in front if you really want to do that.
Maybe.
I'm just telling. So when people hear this or watch this, they will know just about every option that exists out there. So there's no excuses.
Pretty much.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I've been using just the camera that's resident within the MacBook Pro and the microphone that's built in also. So today I was just trying the Heil just to see if there was any appreciable difference in sound. So
And is there?
I don't know. I think
it sounds good.
Okay, as long as it sounds good.
That's what you're on now?
Yeah, I'm into Heil.
Oh,
I kind of like the Heil.
I like the Heil.
Not to pick on John, but John's using you're using the Mac camera or the Mac
C920.
the C.
He's using the C920.
Yeah,
He's got the C920.
and it's still good, but it's not as good as Christopher's Heil.
Heil.
Nor
It's
would
my
I
German heritage.
Vogelman,
I wouldn't-
Vogelmann, ja, natürlich.
Lots.
And it's not as good as my Yeti.
No, the Yeti, I love the Yeti. I think it's a really great value. I mean, I've had this microphone since 2013 and 2012 actually. So I've had it a long time. It's great and they're still making it. So, there's nothing at all wrong with the Yeti and I'm surprised at how affordable it is. And you can get them in different colors too. I have the silver one, but now I think they have white and black and pink.
And
Do
blue.
they have a blue one? I think they did have a blue one that I saw. I mean, it's really pretty. I just prefer to keep it.
It was all right. I've seen the blue one.
I think I've even seen
pink.
brighter colors like orange and green.
Wow. Okay.
Fluorescent, like lime green.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, try something.
You can have fun with it.
Try moving it half the distance closer to you, Angela.
Me?
Yeah.
Move it closer.
Yeah, it took away the echo for sure. It sounded like you were in an
Closer.
Yeah. Oh, that's much better.
And I turned down the gain as well.
You should have it closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try that.
Keep it.
I don't
keep
want to have it in the field of the camera's field. So I tend to push it out of the way.
People are used
fine.
to it because we're used to watching people now broadcasting on radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it at all. It sounds
No.
So
like
you
that.
know better. I turned down the gain because after Troy's mini lecture about the gain, I was like, oh, okay, the gain. I'll turn down the gain. So I turned down the gain. So you really think it's better when it's closer?
Don't you guys think
Yeah.
so?
Okay.
Most definitely.
A lot.
Most definitely.
Good to know. Thank you for the feedback, John.
Think of yourself as a far more
I
attractive
know
version
that-
of Larry
I know
King.
Before when you were talking on it and you moved it closer and further away.
Yeah.
and I always put mine like right up to I'm talking to mine. It's like this far from my face.
Okay. Well, I have a camera, so I don't want it like in my face. I kind of wanted it. So after the side, it doesn't sound as good.
It sounds better closer.
Sounds better closer.
Better closer.
If,
I'll figure out a way to do it.
I have
Nobody
to
would
point
think
out.
anything of it being in the camera frame.
Okay.
Don't worry
I
about
have to point out a few things because I know there's some of the full-on audio nerds are going nuts because you guys are probably sound like amateurs to them, and I'm not trying to say that I'm any better than you.
So be it.
Can I boot him out? I do have the power.
You have the power. All
But
right.
I'm trying to reach all of our audience. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, that's the balance that you have to weigh out between the gain and how close it is to you as well. There's a couple things you have to weigh out. Here's some suggestions as well. If you want to have the mic close to you, but not like John likes to have it, which is fine. Cause like, I understand where he's coming from. In certain cases, it's a lot more acceptable now since people see it. Before on radio, you never knew because they're pretty much right up on their mics.
Right.
And nowadays we see it more on live streams. So we're used to it and recorded videos and everything like that. However, you can also, depending on how you are going to be streaming. So if you look, Angela, right now, you can see your name and trademarkdoctor.net.
Right.
You could get that mic right below you and see where my fingers are, and then just if you brought it right, well, you have to probably finagle with it.
Well, you'd have to turn it,
flip it around.
sideways. Or
Yeah.
I could turn this over too. Actually.
Right.
I could turn this so that the mic is sitting on top of this.
Right. So you just have it like right below you to where it just maybe is covered by the little graphic that has your name and stuff. So, well, don't mess with it. Next thing you know, you're going to totally, she's going to totally.
We'll lose you. Angela's gone.
Yeah, Angela's gone.
Whoops. Wait, what happened?
That's
So-
how I have my Yeti is from under. Mine comes from under. You guys never see
Anyway, I'm messing
So
around with
so
it.
that's
I actually don't like this boom very much. It's very fussy. I wouldn't buy it.
Fussy boom.
It's fussy.
so yeah, so that's just an idea of something you can do. Something else you can do if you're filming. So I know that we do a lot of live streaming. However, people also film videos, right? That are educational or whatever. So what you can do if you really want is you can have a microphone, I mean, like right up and in your business. Okay. But not
Excuse
to where,
me?
yeah, in your business.
All up
That's
in
what I
my
call it.
grill.
All up in your grill, up in your business, you know. Dr. V, I don't want to know what your business is, so I'm just saying,
Keep
well,
your
you know,
business to yourself.
Hey, stay out of my business.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I
It's none of
don't
your
want
business.
anybody up in my business. You all stay
So-
out of my business.
Yeah, exactly.
so let me this
Got it.
this is typically better explained through a video demo, but I will say, so for example, if I was here and I was creating a training video, I could have a microphone right here instead of, you know, in front of me or whatever, but right here next to
Like
me.
where I put mine, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this.
And what I can do then is in post-production, I can actually cut that microphone out,
Oh,
and
really?
you'll still see the background, and you'll wonder where in the world the mic is.
Huh. That sounds like
Um,
way too much trouble to me.
It's not. It's actually not. It
Troy will
really
be
is not.
providing that service free of charge for you, Andrew.
I will
Because I'll
provide it
send
free of
Troy
charge
all of
because
my video to edit.
Dr.
Exactly.
V is taking up the bill. So, so I mean, so there are a lot of different options, and again, I'm just vomiting them all out there. It's all just coming out. So,
Word vomit.
Got to
Word
clean
vomit.
that up. Verbal
idea,
diarrhea
suggestion,
also.
possible capabilities, suggestion, ideas, thoughts. Anyway,
Oh boy. Hey, aside from equipment, microphones, gain, no gain, Brillo pads, or whatever else there is, what about the use of music in your live streaming? Where can you get in trouble, and where can you solve that problem from ever becoming a problem?
I could give a comment or two, but I was really deferring to Angela a little bit on that since we're
Yes, copyright infringement.
infringement.
Well,
is what
has
we're,
come off the air.
I recommend the use of stock files. So you can actually buy memberships to places like oh gosh, let me throw out a couple.
Audio blocks.
Audio blocks, but you know, audio blocks is kind of expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Mercy Lord. Sorry about that.
Mercy Lord. That's
have-
audio blocks calling to reprimand
Right?
you for
You
saying they're
can
too
use
pricey.
audio blocks. There's a place called audiohero.com. Sometimes if you look at I recommend that everybody get a membership to AppSumo, because AppSumo frequently has stock music deals there. But
I Stock Photo also had an offshoot called iStock Audio, which was good.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't use other people's copyrighted music in the background. Like, don't even have it playing in the background, like kind of not on purpose. Because if you upload that video to YouTube, YouTube will take it down and your account will get a copyright strike. And if you get too many copyright strikes, they'll just ban your account and you'll lose all your videos. So yeah, don't use copyrighted music or copyrighted anything in your videos. Just don't do it.
So I have experienced in the past using royalty-free music and still having a video taken down. And then you have to go through the process of showing you've licensed the music and everything else. And it's just a darn big old pain to go through all that.
It is. It's a real pain in the butt. And, you know, YouTube has to be really careful because they don't want to get in trouble for contributory copyright infringement. So, of course, they have, I think, some automated stuff that detects stuff in the background. It is a pain in the butt, Christopher.
But there is the audio section, which they've put into the studio now in YouTube, because they moved it. It says audio.youtube.com, but now it's just a little button in the lower left-hand side of the studio.
Yeah.
And I've never found any problems with those. And there's plenty of
those are official sanctioned, you know, like Troy's curtain, right? They're the
signature
official sanctioned audio.
He looked like Carol Merrill. He's like, here's the curtain.
right? Stroke it a little bit, though. You have to
Stroke.
stroke it a little bit.
Those-
Now you have to caress it like Carol Merrill does.
We have the wind effect going on
Like,
over here.
you get this coffee cup.
It's pre-wrinkled.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that is, don't use other people's stuff. You'll get in trouble.
What
And the
about
thing is,
Facebook doesn't overly watch things like YouTube does. Like YouTube,
They don't seem to care.
Facebook will take it down too, especially if you're trying to run it as an ad or boost it. That's where you're going to have your problem. Like say you make a video, it does really well, but then it's got some copyrighted music in the background. So the first time you ran it, it was fine, but then you try to run it as an ad. Facebook goes in, looks at it and says, forget it. We're not running that as an ad. That's got somebody else's copyrighted stuff in it. So now you've just torpedoed your retargeting, right?
see.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, what about using
Torpedoed.
the torpedoed your targeting? That's a nice little submarine reference there.
Don't you like it?
I
I
do.
like it.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the U-boats. So
You're with
Anyway.
all the German references today. What's up with you?
lots of German references. Well, I'm actually working on my German citizenship too, so that's a whole other story. So.
Okay.
But the one of the things. Well, what if you use the royalty-free YouTube approved music? Will Facebook take that down, or do they have a catalog of what's permissible?
I have no idea. I just
I'm
know
curious,
that
I'm just curious about maybe somebody.
don't
Yeah.
use the copyrighted stuff. I mean, I've used stock stuff that I got online,
Mhm, mhm.
so that's fine.
If it's royalty free, it should be okay anywhere.
well,
What?
actually, I think Angela will attest to this as well, is make sure you understand the license that you are purchasing,
Mhm.
because some of them have, again, stipulations or whatever. And so you'll want to know what you're paying for and what you're allowed to do. So for example, if you did do like Audio Jungle, if you grab something off of them and you paid a once use type thing, well, and you try to use it in your video over and over and over, in theory, or not really in theory, you actually are not following the contract that you basically said you were going to pay for it and use it one time. And I have to say that because Angela's on here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, once she leaves, we'll talk about the real world.
That's right. We're going to get down to business. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there's practical considerations too, but in general, I mean, it's going to be a copyright violation if you don't use the materials in a way that's consistent with the license that you got. Okay,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is that you needed to check it and then also make sure that you may again have the rights to use it. Say, for example, on a television show, because that's usually when they get the big kinds of broadcasts, like in a film, a movie, or TV, something like that. That's when things change from like, hey, you could use it in YouTube, but oh, you wanted to use it on this feature film.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that there's that, but then also make sure that you're not purchasing, say, like a one-time use, such as Audio Jungle, where oh, I didn't know that, because some people are like, they see so much of the once you buy it, it's kind of like lifetime use of that one, but you just got to read the fine print for wherever you're purchasing from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The same thing is true with photography. Images can also have those restrictions.
Yes.
Yep.
It got quiet.
Well, there was one other thing that I'm trying to remember too. So y'all are gonna have to talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves while we do this. So what about live performances? Live performances. Live performances versus dead performances. Talk amongst yourselves.
What about them?
Well, I'm curious. Are you in copyright violation if you? I would imagine you would be nowadays if you were to sing "Happy Birthday" to somebody in a live.
Happy Birthday is actually out of copyright now.
Finally.
Yeah. It's in the public domain now after the copyright is good for a certain number of years after the death.
50 or whatever.
Well, it varies depending on when the work was created, so it gets really complicated, but it's in general 70 years after the death of the
70
creator. Okay. Yeah, so the 70 years finally passed. It's to give the heirs time to benefit from the creation. So that's fair. But yeah, Happy Birthday is now out of copyright protection. It's in the public domain. We can all sing it in public.
With abandon. Every day is a happy birthday somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
can do
Somebody-
that, Christopher.
Maybe we'll start these lives off with a happy birthday to
with a
some-
just somebody
to
out
some
there.
particular-
Somebody out there.
My birthday is Sunday, so on Monday, y'all can sing me happy birthday. How about that?
That will be happy belated birthday. No, happy. We'll figure it out.
Birthday.
Belated
Yeah.
birthday to you.
Happy
Right.
belated birthday to you.
Happy belated birthday to you.
You
So
know,
if
I
we
would
change
I
the
would take either
lyric,
one.
What?
so if we change the lyric, does that create we haven't created a new one by saying happy belated birthday to you?
Well, I mean, it has to be transformative to be a new
I
word.
got it. Okay,
So,
a single word,
probably
additional word's
not.
not going to do it.
Probably
Okay,
not.
got
It has to be transformative. Otherwise, you're just, violating someone's
Happy
privacy.
pandemic to you. So,
Happy pandemic to
there
you.
you.
Oh my gosh.
That might work, but we have to change all the other words. So.
Right? We would have to make
What percentage? What percentage? Do we need to change like 70% of it, or
There
50?
is no bright line test for this kind of infringement, which is
Oh
why
boy!
these get litigated a lot. Yeah.
Oh boy!
So, yeah, there's no bright line test for transformative, and it's hard. People think I'm just hiding the ball when I answer these questions, but
It's like the standard internet marketing answer. It depends.
it depends. Well, the law is very much like that. It's very much a facts and circumstances kind of thing. You know?
Boy.
Test it.
Oh no,
Yes,
technically
yes.
involves hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to court, right? You don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's too much.
Well,
Too much.
I say the test it as in the internet marketing thing, because a lot of people are like, well, this work,
Well,
and you're like,
you can split
yeah.
test anything in internet marketing, but it's not so easy to split test. There's no such
No.
thing as split testing in the law. Sorry.
hey,
Split test
Get sued
audio.
for this. Let's do the same thing in this circuit and that circuit and see where we get sued. I suppose you could do that.
yeah, not very smart. But one thing I was going to point out as well is back to Dr. V, what he's talking about with say like, live music or just music that is
Did I make you yawn with my mask? This is the tired mask.
I
Is it
thought
the tired mask?
my topic was boring, but anyway,
Christopher,
What I was gonna say is-
this gal's falling down, for example.
what kind of violence are you perpetuating?
actually it's the
These-
breath.
That mask.
It's the breath
The breath.
Knocking
It
her
just
out.
seems bad.
knocking her out.
No, I don't think so. Anyway.
I think so.
But these were actually provided by the people in Coronado.
Oh,
They took up donations for fabric, and some fellow here in his restaurant business actually got together a whole bunch of people and they sewed them. So
Oh,
every
wow.
resident of the city got 2 masks, which is amazing. So,
It is amazing.
that's cool.
they
Okay.
could all become masked singers very quickly. So,
I got one that has a little kitty face on it.
Oh, nice.
I leave it.
does
in
it
the
have whiskers?
It does have
Whiskers?
whiskers and a little nose. Yeah.
Good. Then it's genuine. Okay, good.
Genuine.
Except a substitute.
Genuine cat product. Although the same seller had a picture on her website of a mask with the Gucci script logo on it. And so
Oh
that was
no!
my video for the day about
Oh.
trademark infringement. And I ordered from her and then I said, hey, I want you to know I used you as a bad example today.
That's a bad example.
sent
As
her the
opposed
I
to the trolls or the haters that you use for content.
No, I wasn't hating
That was
on her.
different.
I just wanted her to know that, what she was doing might be endangering her business. It was sent with a good heart. I wasn't trolling her. But yes, I did
so
use
if
her
I put this on my mask, would I be in trouble?
no. Why?
No. It's just because it's a Band-Aid brand. So.
Yes, but you're not confusing the consumer into believing that the mask is
Correct.
a banned mask. And that's what we really care about, Christopher, is consumer.
Okay, good. Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome. So-
One thing I was going to say also about music is, so you may use some music that is copyrighted
Mhm.
and say use it on Facebook, and Facebook may not, pull it. YouTube again seems to be a lot quicker on things,
yeah.
but so Facebook may not say anything, right? However, to keep in mind that Facebook does not work for RCA or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that like you still have to watch out for the actual other companies that have the actual copyright, et cetera, to come and jump on you if they want to, so to speak. So
Same idea.
you just don't want to mess with it.
Well, for those people who like to do live performances of sheet music that they have purchased, don't they have to get licensing rights or something to perform a song outside of Happy Birthday, something that's in the public domain?
I'm sorry, what was the?
Yeah. Angela's triple tasking.
Sorry.
She's triple tasking. She's not tap dancing. So if you have a live performance, because I know of several people who do live performances, including one of the music teachers here in town, do you have to secure the rights to sing or perform a particular song if you're live broadcasting?
Well, what you're doing is you're making the live broadcast, that performance is actually a derivative work, right? So
good.
An ASCAP license or some kind of performance license to perform the work in public. You can sing it at home all you want, but if you want to perform it, it's different, right? That's a derivative work.
Because people were having musical entertainment here during the height of our stay-at-home order.
So that's interesting too, because you have like a lot of cover bands and
when they perform. So the bar probably already has, because they play recorded music there. They already have, most of these places have an ASCAP license, or there's another music rights.
BMI.
BMI. They have a license, right? So you buy a license, and then that covers, the public performance of whatever licensed music that's there, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the license is actually with the performance venue, because if you want to play in your garage, right? You don't have
license.
You don't have to get a license unless you've bought the music, right? Then that's licensed. But if you want to perform it publicly, you gotta somebody has to buy a license. Usually the venue.
But if you are a garage band, literally performing live streaming from your garage, are you obligated?
You would probably need a license to do that. That's a public performance, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. But the copyright law is very complex.
It is very
a lot of nuance to it, and a lot of
complex spelled as confusing.
Right. I know it is confusing. And that's one of the reasons why people infringe so much, is because they don't really know that they're not supposed to do X or Y or Z, right? They think that if it's online and it doesn't have a copyright like the Circle C on it, that it's fair game to copy. And that's not true. And people get in trouble all the time with that.
That actually has happened. My wife had an image for one of her best recipes, birria de res, and she found it being used as a thumbnail for somebody else's YouTube video. She got the YouTube video taken down the other day.
Yeah. So. Well, you can do that.
Watch out.
You have the right to control the distribution and reproduction of your artistic works. That's totally fair. So,
One thing to mention for music, though, real quick, if you're doing karaoke and you have the karaoke music, that is licensed.
Yep.
The karaoke music is. So you could you can use that music for. I know the purpose of karaoke. If you have karaoke music, doesn't mean you can necessarily use it for your, like, say if you're like, oh, I want to use the song, like, some Beach Boy song, right? And you're like, oh, I really like that theme for what my live streams are about, and I have the karaoke music, so I'll just pull it into my computer. Well, it's licensed for karaoke. It's not licensed for
public performance.
What about, so if you live stream your karaoke, you're in violation?
Well, you might be. You might be.
Yeah, you might be.
Going to complain about it. I don't know, but there are these sticky issues that arise in
sticky wicket.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sticky wickets, we're running out of time. We've gone.
No, mine's still counting up.
So many things.
Mine's still counting up.
Well, Troy, you're an old timer, so you've got an old timer. So, final thoughts from the peanut gallery.
All right, since I've been yapping the most, I'm gonna yap the last thought first, and then I get to sit back and watch you guys yap your thoughts. So, I think again, and I'm actually gonna steal it from Angela. Her comment.
You're gonna steal it from me?
That's infringement. That's infringement.
I'm going to creatively use something I heard by somebody some other time.
Okay.
And another thing, no, I completely agree with Angela that when she said, because I did start getting into all the microphone stuff and all the things you could do. The reality is just get started doing live, whether streams, podcast, use what you have. Again, if you do know that you have a really bad one, say like, even the wire might be jacked up on it or something and it causes crackling or whatever. I mean, if it produces okay audio, then that's good. But if it is bad audio, like it has a bad wire or cable, something like that, then you for sure need to get something else, something else to replace that. But just get started and don't get caught up in all the, all the fancy kind of stuff.
You mean like this, Troy?
Like that.
Like this?
Yeah. Yes, that would be an example.
Perfect example.
Thank you for the visual example.
You're welcome. Nothing that medical tape can't solve.
Duct tape.
Medical duct tape.
Who's next?
Is it my turn?
Sure, why not?
I go?
Let's
Okay,
go
well,
counterclockwise.
I'm going to echo what Troy said and say, keep it simple. You don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. You don't probably even need to go buy a microphone. You can use the microphone on your video camera. You can use the microphone on your built-in computer video camera. Just, the most important thing is to make sure that you don't have a bunch of background noise that's going to make it irritating for the listener to listen to. And that's just the worst. So, if you're not sure, record yourself and take a listen. But the most important thing is to get your stuff out there. Don't obsess about the technology. It's tiresome.
Counterclockwise, that'd be John.
My turn. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I can think.
You're just thinking. You are allowed to think, but only briefly.
Okay, I'm briefly thinking. So, one of my friends told me once. He said, starting a podcast. He said one of the things we're used to is optimizing for audio. Where he said where video creators often go wrong is they optimize for their video. So, my comment is going to be: make sure you optimize for your audio first. Your video is secondary. It's got to be of good quality, but the audio is of utmost importance. So optimize for it first. That's going to be my final comment.
I think that I go along with the simplification, which is that you have a broadcast studio right here in your hand.
Yes.
At least most of you do.
Yeah.
And I know people who are doing, one friend of mine in particular who does 7 figures a year in coaching. This is his podcast recording device when he sits in the parking lot of a Walmart. So now he'll take the sound later and maybe finish it up a little bit, but not a whole lot. He uses free software like Audacity to do it.
I love Audacity.
Yeah. I mean, but I use GarageBand when I need something because it's a little simpler for me to understand. Audacity freaks me out just only because of the interface. That's just a personal preference. But right here is your broadcast studio. And I'll tell you, the microphone is not half bad.
No. Yeah, it's actually
pretty good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I think
so
it's
with that in mind,
better than the built-in microphone computer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, much better.
Yeah. Well, it was designed allegedly as a phone. So
You think?
Maybe. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 5 Eastern. I think Angela's busy with clients. So
I won't be here tomorrow.
Yeah. You won't be here tomorrow. We'll look forward to you appearing on Wednesday, perhaps.
I do want to say hi to Tiffany and Terry.
Yes, Tiffany, Terry.
Hey.
Hey. Tiffany
Hola.
and Terry.
Well, we have all the T people.
Hi and goodbye.
Hi, goodbye. Oh, I like my favorite is the oh wow, followed by the oh my god.
those were during our last thoughts. So
I don't know what we were doing during that time, but we'll have to go back to the broadcast and see where those comments came in.
Final thoughts. This is what they came in.
Those are our final thoughts. So we'll be back tomorrow, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific,
3 Mountain, and 4 Central.
Noon Hawaiian, and 1 Alaskan. Bye.
There you go.
See you later, Angela.
Bye.
Ciao.